Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. So we are reading from the book Civilization and Transcendence by His Divine Grace H.D.G. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrila Prabhupāda. So let's continue from where we had left yesterday. For instance, if a person knows what gold is, then anywhere he comes upon gold, he will understand, here is gold. He won't think gold is available in one shop only. And if a person knows what God is, what the meaning of God is, then in Krishna he will find God in fullness. Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. Krishna himself is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Shastras explain what Bhagwan or God is and how Krishna is Bhagwan. You should understand and see from the activities of Krishna whether he is or is not Bhagwan. It requires a good brain to understand. If I say, here is God, now it is up to you to test my statement. If you know what God is, then test my statement about Krishna, and then you will accept him as God. If you do not know how to test my statement, then you may refuse to accept it. That is another thing. You may also accept iron as gold. That is your ignorance. You do not know what gold is. But if you actually know what God is, you will accept Krishna as God. There is no doubt about it. So this is the common platform, Bhagavad Gita. Everyone come and take to Krishna consciousness, understand God and learn how to love him, and your life will be perfect. Push to Krishna. But many people claim to have the best religion, Śrila Prabhupāda. But we have to look at the result. How will we decide what is real religion? Savai punsam paro dharma yato bhaktir adokshaja. By seeing whether the followers have learned how to love God. If one has no love of God, then what is the use of claiming that one's religion is the best? Where is the sign of love of Godhead? That is to be seen. Everyone will say, my understanding is the best, but there must be practical proof. If someone claims to have the best religion, we ask, tell us how to love God. What is your process of loving God? If you do not know your relationship with God and others' relationship with God, then how can you love God? That process of loving God is lacking. Nobody can give a clear conception of God. If you have no understanding of what God is, where is the question of love? Love is not a mere fantasy or imagination. You cannot love air. You love a person, a beautiful person. If you merely say, I love the air, I love the sky, what question is there of love? There must be a person. So who is that person we want to love? Unfortunately, most people have no personal conception of God, nor can they describe the Lord's personal beauty, knowledge, strength, his fullness in the 6 personal opulences. There is no such description. They have some conception of God, but actually they do not know what God is. But religion means you must know God and love him. Love is something tangible. It is not merely fantasy or imagination. So we Krishna conscious people accept Krishna as God, and we are worshipping Krishna and we are making progress. Push to Krishna. Recently, a priest visited us and admitted that he didn't know what God looks like. He couldn't say anything about God, but he said he loved God. Śrila Prabhupāda, then what kind of love is it? Push to Krishna. Nor did he say his people were very enthusiastic about coming to church. He said, at best they come once a week. He said, that's all that is necessary. Śrila Prabhupāda, well, love does not mean that you come once a week to my house. Love means you come to my house every day. Give me some presents and take something from me. Śrila Rupa Goswami describes the symptoms of love in his Upadeshamrit. Dadati pratigrinnati guhyam akhyati prishyati bhukte bhojayate chaiva shadvidam pritilakshanam. If you love somebody, you must give him something and you must accept something from him. You must disclose your mind to him and he should disclose his mind to you. and you should give him some eatable, and whatever eatable thing he offers, you accept. These 6 kinds of exchange develop love. But if you do not even know the person, then where is the question of love? Suppose you love some boy or some girl. Then you will give some present and he or she gives you some present. That develops love. You give something to eat and whatever he or she gives you to eat, you eat. You disclose your mind. My dear, such and such, I love you. This is my ambition. And he or she makes some disclosure. There are the exchanges of love. But if there is no person-to-person meeting, where is the question of love? If I claim to love somebody, but I visit his house only once a week and ask, please give me such and such, where is the exchange of love? Love means there is some exchange. If you love somebody, but you have not given anything to that person or taken anything from him, where is the love? The conclusion is, religion means to love God, and that means you must know who God is. There is no alternative. You must know the person who is God. Then you can have loving exchanges with him. That we are teaching. We are asking our disciples to rise early in the morning and offer Mangala Arati, then Bhoga Arati to the Lord in his form as the deity in the temple. Are we such fools and rascals that we are wasting time worshipping a doll? Sometimes people think like that, but that is not a fact. When you enter the temple, you know definitely here is Krishna, here is God, and we must love him like this. That is the super excellence of this Krishna consciousness movement. We do everything definitely on positive platform. Is that clear? Does anyone have any further question? Pradyumna, Śrila Prabhupāda, you are saying we must know God before we can love him. So that means devotional service is preceded by knowledge? Śrila Prabhupāda, yes, that is the process given in the Bhagavad Gita. There are 18 chapters and the whole 18 chapters are education, how to know God. When Arjuna at last comes to complete awareness, he accepts Krishna. You are Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then Arjuna surrendered as Krishna advised, Sarva Dharman Parityajya. But unless you know God, how will you surrender? If some third-class man comes and says, surrender to me, will you do that? Why should I surrender to you? You must know. Now, here is God. I must surrender. 18 chapters describe God and then Krishna proposes, surrender unto me. Then Arjuna does it, yes. So without knowing God, how can you surrender to him? It is not possible. So the Bhagavad Gita is the science of how to know God, the preliminary science. If you want to know more, then read Srimad Bhagavatam. And if you are in intense love with God, read Chaitanya Charitamrita. How your love for God can be still more intensified, that is Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Bhagavad Gita is a preliminary book to understand God and surrender. And from the surrendering point, further progress, that is Srimad Bhagavatam. And when the love is intense, to make it more intensified, that is Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was mad after God. He cried, Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahena Me. I find everything vacant without Krishna. That is the supreme ecstasy. So these things cannot happen without love. If you love somebody and he's not there, you find everything vacant. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt this way about Krishna, lover and beloved. Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahena Me. I see everything vacant without Govinda. That is the supreme stage of love. Is that clear or not? Pradyumna, there is just one more thing, Śrila Prabhupāda. What's the minimum knowledge one must have to? Śrila Prabhupāda, God is great, that's all. God is great. Krishna proved that He is great, therefore He is God. Everyone says God is great. Allahu Akbar. The Muslims say God is great, and Hindus say Param Brahma. You are the Supreme Spirit. So God is great. And when Krishna was present, he proved that he is all great. Therefore, he is God. If you accept that God is great, and if you find somebody who is great in everything, then he is God. How can you deny it? You can see how great Krishna is simply by considering his Bhagavad Gita. 5,000 years have passed since Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, and still it is accepted as the greatest book of the knowledge all over the world. Even people from other religions who are really learned accept it. That is proof of the greatness of Krishna, this knowledge. Who can give such knowledge? That is the proof that he is God. Krishna has all opulences in full, including knowledge. Other than here in Krishna's words, where is such knowledge throughout the whole world? Every line is sublime knowledge. If you study Bhagavad Gita scrutinizingly, you will understand that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Let's stop here for the day. Thank you so much. Śrila Prabhupāda ki jai.